All right, joining me now on the show, he is a four-division world champion, just months removed from his first career win as a welterweight, and a lot of people wondering what's next. Mikey Garcia. What's up, Mikey?
What's up, Chris? I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
So before we get into what's next, just fill me in on what life is like for you now. We're months into this pandemic. You're a professional boxer trying to stay in shape, needing to stay in shape. You never know when your next call is going to come. What have the last few months been like?
Well, we took a big break after the fight. We took some time off. And then with the whole pandemic hitting, it actually, made things, where no one was able to do anything. Different circumstances require different routine. But now that we started getting back in the gym, I'm out actually helping some of the guys that are getting ready for their fights coming up and whatnot, helping them spar a couple rounds, which, like I said, helps me, stay in shape, stay active. We're taking obviously the right measures, the right precautionary measures to keep the distance as much as possible and try not to get sick, bring something to the gym. But overall, we just want to be active so that when we do get that call, once boxing is back on track like normal, we can step on the gas and be ready for another fight.
So, what are you able to do at this point? What kind of training are you able to do?
Well, we do. I've been doing a little bit of running, not a whole lot of workout, like with the trainer, just by myself, running up in my hills there in my house. But now we've been going to the gym, and I'm actually gonna head out there right now after we're done here. I'll be sparring, a little bit of sparring. So we now we're starting to get back into training. I've been helping some of the guys spar a couple rounds, 2, 3, 4 rounds at the most, just to help them, get ready. We have two kids fighting tomorrow night actually. So they actually were some of the kids that I helped get some work in. We just want to make sure that like I said, we do as much as we can to be getting some exercise, but at the same time helping out the other guys.
So, you're a healthy guy in the prime of your career. How much does this coronavirus make you nervous? Like, how anxious do you get being around people? How cautious are you with all this?
Well, initially, it was a scarier thought, because we just didn't have the right information. We didn't know what this virus was, what it was capable of doing. So there was an initial sense of panic and scare. But after looking a little more, into it, seeing the statistics, seeing the facts, it's not so scary now. At least for me, it's not as I don't feel as threatened by it. But at the same time, I don't want to bring this home or accidentally pass this on to somebody who might have complications, like my father, my mom, who they might be, a lot older and maybe their immune system defenses are not as strong. So those are the concerns. So when it comes to like visiting my parents, I haven't been visiting over as much as we normally do because of that reason, But as far as guys at the gym, my brother there, he's opened up the gym to his professional fighters. He allows them to come in. Everybody's wearing a mask until it's like a sparring session. And if it's a sparring session, then you're allowed to take the mask off. But even there, he's taking the right measures and make sure everything's clean, constantly cleaning the entire gym. After every fighter uses any equipment, everything gets disinfected, just to make sure that it's a little cleaner environment.
Yeah, it's interesting how people are treating this pandemic. I mean, you're in California, which is in some ways one of the eyes of the storm, whereas, I've talked to Terrence Crawford and Brian McIntyre and the people in Nebraska, whereas it's not affecting them quite as much. And for them, it's kind of business as usual. It almost creates somewhat an unfair playing field, where you have some guys training full time and, because you're in California, other guys are in California, like, Virgil Ortiz, who may fight sometime the next month or so, like they have to be a little more careful.
Yeah, well, it made it more complicated. Also, the initial first weeks that this hit, weren't able to be out. We're not able to go shopping for groceries, or made it complicated. You know, so things have slowly moved in a better way now. Now things are opening up. We're able to go maybe to a restaurant and order some food, and very limited seating, very limited availability, but at least now we're starting to move forward in the right direction. Um, as far as training, all the gyms were closed. All the fitness gyms were closed. So if you don't have, ways to work out, that complicates things. That made it different. My brother gym, he closed his gym for several weeks. I think it was like for 2 months that it was completely closed. So that makes things more difficult. And here in California, it just seemed to hit a lot harder than we expected. So everybody got really scared and had to, stay at home as much as you can.
Yeah, it's crazy, especially in different parts of the country. So, talk to me about what's next here. We know boxing is back. Top Rank came back with some of their shows. We saw Shakur Stevenson, very low level type cards with some pretty big mismatches on them at this point. But what have been the conversations like for you with whether it's Eddie Hearn or your management team, whomever, about what could be next?
Well, I haven't actually gotten into details about my next fight. Leading up to the Vargas fight, we were already in conversations with Team Pacquiao, having a few discussions. It seemed like things were shaping up pretty well with Manny Pacquiao getting on board to maybe getting a fight with me. Things went, south with the whole pandemic, and everything went silent. Everything had to wait. So I haven't had any further discussions. However, yesterday I was doing another show, the Fighter's Voice, where Sean Gibbons knows the man Richard, and left a message for me that Manny's very excited that he would love to entertain a fight with me. That's a big possibility. So that put a smile on my face. That let me know that there's still interest. Whether it happens, in the next few months or at the end of the year, we still don't know. But at least I know that he's still interested in a fight with me. Because until I hear something like that, I mean, there's a lot of doubt, a lot of questions, and a lot of uncertainties. Maybe he wants to go a different route. Maybe he wants to stop boxing completely. I mean, I don't know. I don't talk to him directly. So there was always that little uncertainty. But hearing his team, Sean Gibbons, say that that's a fight that they want, that they're excited to maybe push forward on that, that's exciting. And that's a fight that I've always wanted, a fight that I think the fans would love and appreciate. So once things get back on track, that's the fight that I'm gonna go after.
You were fortunate that you were able to get a significant fight before the pandemic hit. You could have your full training camp. You could have a major fight against Jessie Vargas. Do you feel comfortable with going in straight into a Pacquiao fight post pandemic, or do you feel like you need something to kind of shake off the rust in between?
No, I think I'll be ready. I think I would be ready to go into a big fight like a Manny Pacquiao fight right away. We've been doing this for such a long time. We're comfortable, taking breaks in between layoffs, sometimes, forced layoffs or for whatever reason. But I don't feel like there's a need to have a tune-up fight at this point. I think we're ready. I think as long as I get my 10 weeks of training that I require for my fight, I think I'll be good to go.
Mm. Now, as far as like your obligations, do you feel you were announced as a Matchroom fighter, just 6 months ago? Mikey Garcia signs with Matchroom. It's not quite as simple as that, of course, with you, because you've been clear you want to maintain a level of independence with your career. And I respect that. I think all fighters should actually do that because you can get bigger fights that way. Where does it stand with you and Matchroom, you working with Eddie?
Oh, we could definitely continue work, and I really enjoyed and appreciated the work that they did with me, the transparency, which was a big deal for me, a big part of the agreement. Being full transparent and working alongside with me. We basically partnered up for that fight. It was more like a co-promotion partnership between both to get this event going with Jessie Vargas. But we do have a contractual clause where they obviously have the right to present to me another offer where I seriously consider and I weigh, is it equal value? Is it equal value in different terms, not only monetary value, but also in legacy and fight and quality of fight. So that's where we stand. I would definitely, like to work with them again. The whole team Matchroom was wonderful with me. Dazn did a great job with with their media coverage and everything with me. So I have nothing negative to say about them, or no reason for me not to work with them. Um, the only thing is we want to see what happens with boxing. We don't know where it's at right now when it gets back to normal. You mentioned, Top Rank had a show. I don't know what that can translate to towards a big show, a big, fight where me and Manny Pacquiao deserve an audience, and I think it demands an audience because it generates a lot of money. Also, fighters like Manny that require a big purse, big guarantees. The promoter can just cough up money out of nowhere. It has to generate from somewhere, and the gate is a large stream of revenue where you're able to generate the money to pay these fighters. So I think a fight with Manny would definitely have to wait until we have an audience. Whether that gets pulled by Matchroom and DAZN or anybody else, I mean, I'm willing to negotiate and talk to anybody. Like I said, DAZN did great, Matchroom did great. They had already reached out to Team Pacquiao prior to the JESSIE Vargas fight, and we had already got a few dates that were floating around for the early summer, and we were excited to move on with these ideas and these plans. But the pandemic hit, so now we have to kind of just sit back and wait for a little longer. But I mean, I'm excited to be back as soon as we can get back. I don't need a no tune-up fight. I'm ready to go.
Did you feel, Mikey, that the plan for a potential you and Pacquiao fight was going to involve the Middle East? Because that seemed to be where a lot of money could lie, and maybe could lie in the future if this pandemic prevents the kind of crowds that you and Pacquiao would draw.
Well, that was one of the sites and options that was brought up to my attention. Possibly taking that fight to the Middle East, just like they did Joshua and Reese. We never got into full details about it, but it was brought up to my attention that they were a big player in the site and hosting the event. I mean, I'm willing to go anywhere. I'm willing to travel anywhere. Like I've always said, inside of that ring, it's same four ropes, same four corners. No matter where it's staged, I know the ring, like nobody else. So I'm comfortable going anywhere in the world. And I actually would love to, fight out overseas, fight somewhere else. I think that would be very cool to be able to put that down and have that experience of fighting in front of a different crowd, different people, different country, and bring something new to another nation would be terrific.
I think we forget sometimes true world champions have fought everywhere, all over the world, and had some incredibly memorable moments when doing that. So did you watch the Top Rank return show headlined by Shakur?
I did. I didn't catch that one.
It was interesting. You say, four corners, four ropes, and you're right. It's all the same ring. It's just a little different when you're not hearing anything outside of that ring. And I thought the TV version of it, Mikey, looked great because they put big signs and it just had a good feel to it. But it was definitely weird, man. It had to have been weird for the fighters to be in there and be doing their thing and not have crowd reaction as part of it. I'm still curious to see how that works out, especially when fighters like you draw big crowds, and most of those crowds are oftentimes there for you. They support you. How different that would be for a guy like you.
Definitely. That's something that's still, in the back of my head. Can I compete? Can I fight? Can I get, emotional and really give it my all with no crowd? I mean, one of the best moments, if not the best moment of any fight for me, is the ring walk, the walkout. Coming out of my locker room, coming out of my room, into the crowd, into the arena, looking up, hearing the music play, and hearing all the fans cheer, and just remind me that they're here to see me. It touches me. It's emotional. It makes me really appreciate the love and support, and it's just unbelievable to me. All these people are there to see me, and they took time away from their daily lives and routines and whatnot, travel, whatever they had to do to be there. That's special, and that allows me to fight hard. I give them, a fight that they're gonna remember. Now, not having that might change the way I fight. I don't know. I mean, that's still to be answered. We need to talk to some of these kids. I'll talk to the guys from the gym, you know, after their fights and see how it felt, how they felt about it. If that's what they have to do right now, then that's what we have to do. You have to, you know, make adjustments. You have to, you know, make some different adjustments in the way you fight to get through these moments. But I mean, I would love to have the fans there. I think that's part of the whole energy. You know, that energy in the arenas when it's crowd pleasing like that. It's a whole different environment, and it's electrifying at times. So I really want to have that kind of atmosphere again.
You've said, and we all know you want Manny Pacquiao in a fight like that. But as you said as well, you don't know what Pacquiao is going to do or if he's even going to fight again. There are a lot of variables when it comes to a Manny Pacquiao fight. Do you have a short list? I mean, Pacquiao is like the big time money man in the division, but you're right after him. I mean, you're one of the bigger money men in boxing. You can get a lot of guys in this sport. Do you have a short list of guys that really would motivate you to get you in the ring?
I think I've mentioned it before as well. I think number one, Manny Pacquiao is the biggest fight for me right now. Everybody in the welterweight division or close by it wants a Manny Pacquiao fight. I think that's the biggest fight also, not only for me, but also for him. I think we can generate the most attention, the bigger audience, the biggest purses also, because we both generate a lot of audience. But if Manny Pacquiao is unavailable, then at that point I look at what else is available, and we do have Danny Garcia, who I think is another, you know, big draw in the division, and I think that would be a terrific fight if I were to secure Danny Garcia, followed by Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. These guys are always in exciting fights. Sean Porter is always in exciting fights. He's fought some of the best guys already. You know, former, you know, two-time champion as well. So I think these fights will still be exciting enough for the crowd, for the fans to tune in. I would love to earn my shot at another Errol Spence fight. I would love to earn a shot at a rematch. In order to do that, I need one or two good wins in order to demand and really create that energy and that momentum to secure a rematch. I would love a rematch with Errol Spence. I think it would be a great matchup. I think I'll do a lot better because I'm a little better now in the weight. I thought I was gonna do well last time, but you know, apparently I wasn't ready. But now I think I'll do a lot more, just because I'm carrying the weight for so much more time than just, you know, 2 months or 10 weeks, 12 weeks that I had last time.
Is it important to you, Mikey, to fight one way or the other again in 2020, even if that means, you know, doing a closed door fight and all that comes with it? Or is it your preference to kind of, you know, if it takes till February, March, whatever, to get the kind of, you know, financial landscape right, whatever it is? I mean, what's your mentality when it comes to fighting this year?
I'll definitely fight one more time before the end of the year. Whether it's on a big stage or small stage, it's still, like I said, up in the air. We don't know. If things don't look well for putting together a big arena, big stage with all the fans, then I might look into, you know, staging a smaller scale fight. It probably wouldn't be a big name like Manny Pacquiao, but we could still give the fans on TV on maybe they mentioned, I heard, maybe limited seating, you know, small venues with small seats. So maybe something like that. But I do want to fight. I do want to fight before the end of the year. But right now I'm waiting to see where everything goes. But I want to get another fight before the end of the year. I think, you know, I wanted to stay active this year. I was planning on fighting 3 times this year. You know, I had some goals. But you know, you have to, you know, just move with the times and do what you got to do. Right now, we'll wait a couple more months, maybe another 2 months, to see where the landscape goes.
Before I let you go, I wrote this week that the Prograis Hooker fight has fallen apart because Hooker wants to stay at 147 now, and Prograis won't go up above 143. You have said that fighting at 140 is still an option for you down the line. Does Regis Prograis do anything for you? Does that move the needle for you at all as a potential opponent?
Well, if I got, you know, Manny Pacquiao or Danny Garcia or Thurman or Porter available, then Prograis has to kind of wait. These guys are more exciting for me, more I have more interest in a fight with these guys. If those fights are not available, then I would, look into 140. I'm not ruling out the possibility of me coming down to 140, but at the moment, with the champions at 140 being Jose Ramirez, who's a stablemate friend of mine, holding 2 titles, obviously we're not going to fight each other, and the other champion being Josh Taylor, who just signed recently with Top Rank a few months back. I don't see me getting a title fight at 140 anytime soon. I just don't see that happening. So there's nothing really for me at 140. So that's why I'm more excited to be at 147 and try to pursue a title fight there. Maybe later, a few titles, are picked up by somebody else at 140. Maybe Regis picks up a belt. Maybe Taylor vacates or Jose vacates or whatever it may be, and that opens, doors for me there. But until then, I'm not looking at 140.
How many times have you and Ramirez sparred? I bet you've probably done 3 fights or more actually sparring.
We spar a lot. We were actually helping each other for my fight with Jessie. I was working with him as he was also getting ready for Victor Postol. I was helping him out a few rounds, and at the same time, it's helping me get ready for Jessie. And that was just this time. But we've worked many. They're interesting sparring sessions, man. He's very strong. He's a strong guy. Even though he's fighting at 40 and I'm fighting at 47, but he's naturally bigger. So I got to be very careful because he is very strong.
If he became undisputed at some point early next year, would you ever get in the ring with him?
As long as he's with my brother, I don't think that would ever happen.
Tough call for your brother.
We've become good friends. We've hung out several times here, and we see each other. We have mutual respect for one another. And like I said, as long as he's in my brother's gym with my brother, he's family to me. So we don't want to do that. Similar scenario happened, 7 years ago, when I was champion at featherweight. At that time, my brother had me as a champion, Evgeny Gradovich as a featherweight champion, Cuellar was a featherweight champion, and Onito Donaire was moving up in weight. So my brother had, a lot of featherweights, and all of us were champions. And they asked, would you guys fight each other for unification matches? And we all said the same thing. As long as we're in the same gym, we're not going to fight each other. Now, if one fighter moves gyms and then that fight is presented, then yeah, we could fight each other at that point. And coincidentally, a few years ago, Abner came into our gym. Cuellar had left. Well, Abner fought Cuellar for his title, and Abner beat him. So, certain scenarios have to change in order for fights to get done. As long as Jose's here, I don't think I would fight him. I know for a fact I wouldn't be fighting him. But in the future, if he moved gyms and that was the biggest fight available for him and me, and there's nothing else that we can secure, then we would maybe at that point look into it. But until then, I don't even want to consider that, because we're friends, we're cool with each other, and it's a family thing right now.
So what you're saying is you need Ramirez to win undisputed and then fire your brother and go back to Freddie, and then you can have the clash, man. Then you can go at it.
At that point, we could definitely sit down and discuss the options.
Hey, Mikey, always good to talk to you, man. Good to see you doing well, and hope to see you back in one way or the other at some point in 2020. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate everything, man. Stay well, stay healthy. Just be safe, Try to see you soon.